again, thank you all for joining us for our One Book, One Community event. We're very, very excited tonight for our panelists, and we welcome each one of you, Mark, and Ann, and Ben, and Tiffany. And Tiffany and Joan just came back from Venice, Italy last night. So, brave soul she is. So our book this spring was Sitting Pretty. Abby was very insistent that we do something on disability and accessibility. And we're so glad that she did, because we have learned so much. And I think, and you're all nodding, so I think we've all learned a lot. So without any other introductions, Mark, we're going to start with you, and we'll go right down the table. I've asked them to talk no more than 10 minutes. I'll give you a signal if you're really,
okay.
But I'm not going to quite But that way it will give you time to be able to ask questions. So, Mark,
So, accessibility in Bridgewater, that's what you want me to talk about? Or?
you can talk about anything that
Okay.
deals with you, with accessibility, and particularly your life, what you have done.
All right.
Incredible.
And if people could speak up, because I don't have an additional mic.
Even that you started in Bridgewater, you came to Bridgewater in, what, 78?
78, yeah.
And went into 5th grade with, and you said you were using crutches. And,
Yeah.
and that was up on the top floor. So you had to take the elevator up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Stop.
I know. Yep.
Oh, right.
So, my name's Mark. Originally, I was born in California, and I was one of the first students out there to be mainstreamed in public schools. So, and came here in '76, but I came to Bridgewater in '78, and I've been through the Bridgewater school system since then. I'm diagnosed with CP, cerebral palsy, which is, for me, lack of oxygen to the brain during birth. That's how it happened. And we didn't know until I was 2. So, because I was progressing pretty much on time, or, or some ways earlier. And I wasn't walking on time, so that's when we figured that out. So, and the Bridgewater since '78, I said, right? Let's see. After high school, I went to, where'd I go? I got a teaching degree in physical education from Bridgewater State. And then I got a master's degree in adaptive phys ed from Ohio State. That was a one-year thing there. I've also participated in sports throughout my life: basketball, team handball, a little tennis, swimming. And at this point, through a lot of that, I was walking with crutches. But when I started wheelchair basketball, that's when I originally got my first chair. And then, since then, it's been gradual to full-time chair. I have a pair of crutches too, but I use them when spaces aren't accessible. Actually, I had a chair when I was 6, built especially for me. But it was big and clunky, so I put it outside. We're in California, so we put it outside behind a tree. So, one day it was missing. And we never got it back.
Some kids.
Yep. Some kids or whatever, and I never got it back. So, but I had crutches shoes, and so I learned to when I did on the chair, I learned to pedal the bike with my arms I put my knees on the tricycle,
Yeah.
and I pedaled,
Oh, wow.
kept my feet up, and that's the way I was getting around a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, I taught adaptive physical education for 9 years. The last 8 years in Mansfield. Then I developed chronic back pain, and that kind of, I couldn't do full-time work because of the pain. I would go, if I went into work for a whole day, at the end of the day I would be like 10 plus pain. And maybe the next 2 days I couldn't go back to work, so. At this point, I'm studying to be a personal trainer, and I can do that online, so I don't have to it wouldn't be like an 8-hour day. So that's something I can probably do, so I'm looking forward to that. Accessibility in Bridgewater. That's the topic.
That's what I was gonna ask.
That's the topic.
You know that, we've talked.
I know that.
Really?
I have stories.
We
I
love
think-
stories.
Fill us
Tell
in
us.
on the latest,
Yes.
Mark.
The latest story?
Yeah.
The latest story. 2 stories. I was traveling I think I was traveling from church. I was going home and traveling in my wheelchair through Bridgewater Center. Someone was parked. There was nobody parked in the side of the street there. It was the common, so the other side of the street. No one was parked there, except for one person. He's blocking the crosswalk that I had to use.
Oh, God, yeah.
So I was like, I told him he's in the way. He's like, what? I'm like, you're in the way. He's like, go ahead. I'm like, I can't go because you're in the way. So,
Crazy.
Horrible.
and another person, this was the worst one I've ever had, I think. I was traveling, I think it was 4th of July or something. And I was traveling to church, actually. And I was gonna cross the crosswalk, and there was someone there in the crosswalk again. And I'm like, you can't park there. It's, illegal to park there. He's like, he didn't say anything. I'm like, someone might need to use it. He's like, well, you're not using it. I'm like,
I can't.
Yeah.
so, things like that. And
What was accessibility like when you were younger? Ramps, roads, getting in the elevator, things like that.
well, when I was using crutches, I had no problem. I could actually do stairs if I had
So
to.
was there always accessibility since you were a child?
Yeah, in the school system, yeah. I had no problem with the school system at all. Yeah, the key for the elevator, so that was good.
Walking down the street, coming down the street.
Yeah, I had no real problems. No, I can't think of anything. But yeah, I think I told,
In terms of like when you were in school, when they started changing from class to class, was that more difficult for you?
No.
No?
No, I've always wanted to, my parents brought me up as, they never really treated me, well, they had to treat me some ways, like, I had disability, but they want to treat me as normal as possible. So even in high school, junior high, they said I could leave early if I wanted to, but I didn't see the need to leave early. Because I could be pretty fast on my crutches, so. I usually were on time, not very late to any classes, so. And I like doing that, like weaving in and out of people, getting to my classes and.
Okay.
So Mark, do you feel that the streets, I know we've talked about crosswalk safety and all that with the Disabilities Commission and everything. Do you feel that there's been any changes or improvement in that? Or it's just remained the same and nothing's really been done with the town? Because we've been trying to get on them about
Right.
trying to
There
provide
are,
safety,
there are spots, things have been done
Yeah.
along Main Street, where I live. There's the curb cuts. But
Yes.
other places aren't done though. Between the curb cuts, there's still a
Yeah.
little bit of issues there that I would, yeah. And just like, going along the street, if there's like a crack in the sidewalk.
Yeah.
These wheels are small, so if I hit the crack,
Yes.
I'm gone.
Yeah, and there's a lot of
And
cracks, isn't there?
It's happened,
Yeah,
it's happened,
yeah,
3 or 4 times,
yeah.
so. And there was one, I think I told the story before, but there was a big crack in the middle of the sidewalk,
Mhm.
coming from my place going toward, it was just desserts there, and then the
Yeah.
crosswalk there. There was a huge one that was like 6 inches wide and like inch and a half deep.
Yeah.
I knew it was there, and I knew that I had to swerve around it. I didn't calculate very well. My wheel hit, and I went over. I braced myself. I went over. My back wheels went up.
Yeah.
I was on the street like that,
Oh,
hoping no one would hit me. I'm like, and I couldn't really. There was not a lot of time to think. So I could have, after a while, I thought what I could have done, but hopefully someone came from behind me and said, "You can help?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do."
But that's the right thing to ask,
Yeah.
because you don't
Right.
want to just,
Um,
without asking.
With me, it's asking is the best way to do it, because sometimes I will take the help, and sometimes like I don't need it. And people will assume, like, come back and push me. I'm like, wait a minute,
Yeah,
that's not,
yeah,
that's really weird.
yeah.
And if they think that I need help, and they like open the door for me, that's fine. But just the best thing to do is ask, because sometimes if I'm having a bad day, I'll take the help and sometimes I won't. Depends.
Okay, we're gonna start with the questions and let everybody speak first, and then we'll do the questions at the end, so that we have a flow going along here. So, Mark, we're gonna leave you and go on to Ann,
Hi, I'm Ann without an E.
and we'll clap for all of you at the end.
Oh, dear.
Oh, wonderful.
I'm Ann without an E, yeah.
Get my scissors.
I'm just gonna say, I'll go for just tear the end off.
So I was born, as everybody else, but I was born a month late. My mother was due for me on Thanksgiving, and she went into labor on Christmas Day.
oh,
So back in those days, that was, an incredible mishap, you might want to say. And I was born severely ill, and I was put in an incubator for 10 days. And back in those days, if you ever heard of RLF babies, which is babies that were born and were put in incubators, a lot of babies were born with blind from the incubators.
oh.
And there were some studies over the years that have been done if that was also the case with hearing, because the oxygen level was so high back then that it caused neurological conditions for the eyes, and so there were some studies. So that was one theory for mine. My grandmother was, her name was Ann Ahern. By the way, my last name is Ahern Avatabali. And she was deaf, severely deaf and hard of hearing. But the story went back in 1903, or whenever it was, 1905, she fell off a swing. And supposedly after that is when they seem to have noticed that she couldn't hear as well. Is that true or is that not true? We really don't know. They didn't have the kind of doctors. She lived on an island off of Canada. And and the third ideology could be that I was born so sick. I was bleeding from my nose, my ears. I was very, very ill, and that could have caused me the damage. So either way, I have moderate to severe nerve damage. And but I was an only child. We're talking early 60s. I was an only child. I was one-on-one. My mother came from Maine. She married a Bostonian. And we ended up in Boston as an only child, so I had a lot of one-on-one. And then my sister came along. My mother took me by my hand and sent me off to school. And as the story always went, she wanted to send me to the sister school, which is, in my terms, Catholic parochial school. But I was too young. So my mother marched me over to public school system, so I got in quite young. Within days, they were calling my mother saying that they thought there was something severely wrong with me and that I probably had mental disabilities, cognitive problems. In those days, they had different words for them. So they sent me over to Paul Dever and had me evaluated, and somebody said, this girl can't hear. She can't hear. And I had so much one-on-one from my mom, you know, and that I just was able to fake it and make it. You know, I always call myself a great pretender. And, still to this day, you know, I feel that some of my intestinal fortitude came from this background. So they put me, you know, all 40 pounds of me in a hearing aid that looked like this. And that's what I wore. And if you can see it, it's nothing more than a microphone. I talk about Bell Graham's telephone of the 1700s, 18. Think of the difference of that crank-up phone and what this phone does today. This hearing aid, and compared to what the hearing aids do today, are night and day, okay? Night and day. My hearing aid that I have today, correct?
Yeah, I agree.
Correct. My hearing aid today is connected to my phone. Sometimes I can see when I'm in church, people giving me the evil eye. Why is she on her phone? But I'm not. I am turning you up or down, depending on how good you are. How much I like the sermon. My friends always say, oh, you're lucky, you can just turn it all out. And I said, yes, I can. But so this was nothing more than a little microphone, and I think that's one of the most misunderstoods about hearing loss, that it's all about being high and low. Just turn it up or turn it down. I turn the TV up. Well, you still can't hear me. But the reason why you can't hear me is there's background noise, somebody's cooking in the other room, somebody's talking to you. So anyways, I wore these, and I was supposed to go to Boston School for the Deaf. And at the time, I lived in Brockton, and Brockton was considered an advanced city. It was in the 60s. It was a very working class city town, and they came to my parents and they said, you know, rather marches around Massachusetts back in those days to make our streets accessible, because people could not use their wheelchair down in the street. Just a real quick, and I'll let him talk. So when you get one of these hearing tests, I just thought, I take an opportunity here just to teach you a thing or two. So I have a hearing test here, and I made one up, and the left ear, and then we got the right ear. So the left ear is a circle, it's the right ear. Now if you look across, you will see way up here where it says 0 and then 10 and 20, that's perfect hearing, okay? And don't ever whisper to me, because I hate it. I get such stress disorder, I really do. But wonder why? Whispering is way up here in perfect hearing, right? So then if you go down, so when you take a hearing test, has anyone ever taken a hearing test? Okay, when you take a hearing test, you hear all those sounds.
Yeah.
Right? So, right. So your letters, so you take your letters are part of those pitches. So when someone talks to me, if someone's hard of hearing, like this one here, every time there's a P, an H, a G, a CH, an SH, they're not hearing it. But they might be hearing the other letters of the alphabet here, so they're hearing all these broken up things. And I think it's really important because people just think it's about loudness, it's about pitch. Now my hearing is, you can see, this is my hearing down here. So it's very low. But I can be standing right next, if I don't have my hearing aids on, right this close to the microwave, and I'm not gonna hear it. Not at all. But I might hear somebody banging a hammer in the other room. Because it's a totally different sound, it's a totally different pitch. And so it's really important, I think, for people to you know, with grandma, I won't say with anybody of our own age, but the baby boomers are getting older, and one of the things I used to say in my profession was when the baby boomers get older, insurances would stop paying a little bit for hearing aids, and that is what has happened.
Wow.
My mother and father used to have to take out a loan to get me a hearing aid. But, so anyways, that's it, and I let him continue our saga, right? And I'm sorry, your name again?
Ben.
Ben.
Hi everyone. Myself, when I first started school, when I was younger, when I was born, I was sick with something, and then that caused my hearing loss. So my parents didn't know what to do. Okay. So, and then that's when they started giving me something similar to what she had, the old, and they put me on speech therapy, other things too. So a lot of people that I know, they're like, oh, you speak really well. That's because I could speak club like she did. And a lot of time, and then added to that, my autism, which I didn't find out until like elementary, middle school, around there, because some of the things I've been doing in general, like what we call repeat behavior. My parents had no idea why I was doing it. So they were probably like, why have you been doing that? So they did some kind of evaluation to figure out what it was, and they, yeah, sure enough, autism. So I started going to the Boston School for the Job, which was in 93, 94, somewhere around there, before they shut down. And then after that, they put me mainstream public school, which was, I was in the Bluewater Manhattan public school system, with an interpreter in the classroom. The little bit was one of them I was with when I was in kindergarten. And it was challenging because me being the only one in the classroom with, you know, regular students and one person dying to me, it was too much. I had my concentration was just not there. And then when I was on the IEP, so they're like, okay, this is not working. They put me at the Learning Center for the Deaf, which is another school, and that used to be in Randolph. And then another one, the main campus in Birmingham. So that was much easier, because all the teachers were sign language. I was able to go to class, learn, and then when I was in high school, there was a couple of years where I stayed on campus during the week because my social skills was a struggle. I would not interact with anybody. I was just by myself. I felt left out. And then as time goes on, I started to get more socializing. And then when I went to college, I developed it more, being socialized, meeting new people. That was where my parents would apply that I wanted to apply college. And I thought, oh, if they can, why can't I? You know, and I proved them wrong. I went to classes, got all A's and B's to help me get to where I am now, working as a para for the school district. I feel very lucky to be part of the school system, feel very welcoming, connecting people more, getting to know the kids, the classroom, teachers. I've had some challenges here and there, but I've always told myself to go out there, don't even let anything bother you, just go, show up and do what I need to do, you know. And I also wanted to learn to drive. That wasn't until I was in college. Because of my deafness and my autism, two things. My parents were not on board with that yet. They were like, but I proved them wrong. I have my own car, I have my own job, I'm making new friends, and it's a big turnaround for me. as an adult and for my family. And, you know, like, think of what you said, you know, back in the day, like, that time, especially middle school, high school, where they would say something funny, which would make you feel hurt, they would say something that makes you feel like you're not part of the group. Oh, he's doing so and so, but we don't realize, like, it makes us feel nervous, like, about me, or are you thinking about someone else? And then it makes you feel like you're the target, because it's like, why is me getting in trouble, why not someone else? You know, you're always pointing at one person. No, it's you. Like, no, why me? And then the teacher will come to you, like, why me? Why not them? You know, you're like, no, it's the other way around. You know, I don't know about you, but but again, you know, from that point up to now, you know, and also I feel like see my
Oh, can you read that
Yeah.
then? Can you read that out loud for everybody?
yeah.
Take it to read, because I think it's so important.
So
I copied it.
a child with special needs spend hours being taught how to interact with others. We should also spend time teaching others how to interact with them. So what that means is, if they're in, and now they have inclusion classroom where they go from regular classroom, they need to learn how to interact with them. Because if they don't, how are they gonna be fun? How, you know, so that's why I wrote them. And the other thing that I feel that people with disabilities should speak up more. I feel like I'm speaking up more because we all need to speak up more of what's been happening on social media or wherever. It just makes me feel angry. Like, why us? So why are we the ones that look bad? We're not, we're people. So I made a video a couple weeks ago, I've been inside. My point was, we are people like you. We are humans like you. We work, we do what we can do. Calling us those words are not okay. Negative words about us is not okay. That's why I'm here tonight, to show you guys that this is important and we're important.
Good.
Fingers crossed. Is there something on the screen?
No, not yet.
Yeah,
Not yet.
I'm home, you know.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, good.
Should say the water sleep all the
Yeah.
way.
It does.
Yep.
There we are.
Okay.
I was thinking the same.
That's my phone, man.
Oh, oh.
Do you want me to get it for you? What,
Yeah,
right here?
yeah.
All right, we're gonna have to get the guy up.
You want John or George or?
I can sign your name.
Oh.
Ismail, I knew you could get them up here. I thought I could do this.
Oh, good.
I can't remember my password.
Are
you surprised?
I have like 20. I would never.
Well, you have so many you can't remember.
You know, I have a book, all my passwords.
Me too.
Well, I was thinking,
Oh, sure, yeah.
did you write this?
I did.
I should have done that instead of copied it all over. Is this the new technology?
I
No.
don't know.
Oh, no, this is the old tech.
Oh, okay.
This
I
is
have
not the new
no idea,
technology.
Nancy.
Okay.
This is the cart that's used for senior college.
But
Oh, yeah.
but Bridgewater State is,
Going to do the technology.
is going to do new technology for this room.
Right,
That's
and we
great.
need
Yeah.
it desperately.
I know.
Yeah.
We are very grateful.
Yeah.
And we need a sound system. Sound system.
I think we have a mic.
They never use it for this presentation.
It's now
I know, and I was just here last week and they said, you can tell them upstairs.
Yeah,
And
I
then,
think there is, I think we have a mic.
Okay, looks,
But yeah,
looking
the-
good.
The presentation on Under the Elms.
yes,
Innocence Under
yes,
the Elms.
innocence under the elms. I know, and she was a fast talker. So very, very different.
She's probably not gonna be in teaching,
She's got to slow her voice down.
because she has such a sweet.
Yeah.
So while they're getting that ready, what you're going to see here are Tiffany and Jones trips all over the world.
And I'm so glad that you
And I
able to
am,
count both of
it's
you.
so amazing that she, in fact, just came back from Venice, Italy last night.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
Do you want me to? Here it is, looking good.
You want me to read it? That would be good.
Page that we figured
Oh, I've been here back since Thursday,
I'm
so.
not hearing you.
Oh, you,
want
the
Yeah.
Friday,
read
Thursday.
Not Thursday.
Oh, sure, oh, well,
Not so much this, because you can see it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever.
Some of them are a little small.
Yeah. Talk very loud so everybody
Yeah,
can hear.
we didn't know what we were doing, so.
But wait, where should I be pointing the camera?
Point the camera at Tiffany.
Tiffany?
I'd read it from there, but I can't see it from there.
Oh, right.
Let me just, go ahead.
So I'm Tiffany. I'm a neuromuscular disorder.
Mm-hmm.
So I speak really bad. So my mother is gonna speak for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Unfortunately, what Tiffany has, she wasn't diagnosed until she was 15. She made it through kindergarten.
Yeah.
She made it through school. And she just kept falling down all the time. She did soccer and she got worse. And, you know, we just kept saying she dropped dishes, things like that. And I took her to many, many doctors. Nobody could figure out what it was. Finally, she went.
I'm so good around. I feel like I'm gonna die.
She said to me, I can't breathe, I feel like I'm gonna die. And what she had, yeah, I go, you're fine, just get back in there. And turns out with what she has a heart condition.
Oh.
And 60% of the kids, that's what they eventually die from, is the heart condition. But they have a whole host of other things because it affects every single muscle. Poor Tiffany is losing her speech,
Yes.
she's losing her hearing, she's losing her eyesight, but she plugs on and doesn't complain. And this is the thing that keeps her going. She decided to travel and open up the world to a lot of people that she knows that are afraid to travel. They're afraid they'll get there and they won't be able to do. Do you find that, Mark, that you're afraid to go to a new place?
Somewhat. What I'm afraid of is I have allergies, so
Oh.
if I can only eat, I know what I can eat and know what I can't eat, so I'm more afraid of going somewhere and like, what can I eat? I don't want to chance anything.
Right.
Because I could wind up in the hospital with anaphylactic shock, so I'm not doing that. So. But I've traveled to Canada. I've relatives in Canada. That's about it though.
But I mean, people say, oh, you know, don't go to Europe, it's too hard, there's no accessibility. But I find that they get around the accessibility sometimes better than we do. You know, you'll go to an old building and they'll whip out the ramp, the portable ramp, and put it down. It may not be exactly, but you can push your way in. And I don't think they worry about, you know, getting sued or anything there. And there aren't quite the rules, the liability rules there. So that makes a difference, and it actually is more helpful. But of course, some things are old, like this particular place that she went to, this was in Austria. It was, they had this ramp on the outside of the building that went right up the stairs. It was the best thing.
Wow.
Yeah, I've never seen that before.
Wow.
That's great.
Why don't you read my comment?
Say it again.
Read my comment.
She wants you to read what
Oh,
it
you want me to
covers.
read it?
What it covers.
I cover accessible adventures and accessible wildlife encounters, nature for everybody, plant-based eating with traveling, mindfulness, sustainability, and history hidden in plain sight.
Oh.
She went to South Africa on a safari, Sahara rest camp that she
Wow.
went to. We stayed in a circular hut with thatched roofs, African style. They were super simple. Can you slow it down so it
I'm
doesn't?
sorry, I hit the wrong thing. Sorry, Joan.
Sorry.
I'll put my hands
With minimal items, but in Kruger National Park, what else do you need? They had everything from tent camping to little townhouses. I guess after dinner time, the campers were known to throw their scraps to the hyenas right outside the electric fence. Nothing goes to waste with the hyenas around. There was a ramp to the hut's outdoor kitchen, small, and just a table and chairs, a sink, pots and pans, silverware, and plates on the shelf. I think a fridge, and 10 feet away in the open was a charcoal grill, barbecue, tongs, and a lighter. And the people that did this particular tour would cook for them. Our hut had 2 twin beds pushed together with a bath towel and a hand towel folded on the dresser bed with a pillow and 2 reading lights, 1 closet and 1 window. You came all this way to Kruger to see the animals, not a luxury hotel. They also had an animal, 2, what were they, Tiffany, cheetahs that you and Sabrina?
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
That's on the next slide.
Oh, okay. The bathroom was basic, a sink with little counter space, a toilet with the same unique South African grab bars, a roll of 2 toilet paper, and a roll-in shower with extremely small seat. Used one of the plastic patio chairs as a substitute for a shower chair. It was surprising how many places we've been, and they'll say, yes, we have a handicap shower that you can roll into, and there's no chair. And we'll say, we need a chair. Well, one place, they gave her a drum to sit on in Austria. Only a few would have a section that had just little steps like this, and you had to push up and then push down the other side. I thought I was gonna go flying down on the other side. But they weren't on all of them, so sometimes we had to turn around and come back. Venice was tricky. And then Saturday, this was their holiday weekend. Saturday was mobbed. And if you have a hotel, you're bringing your luggage and everything on those little transport boats. So it was crowded. There were 5 accessible Travel Peru guys that helped us. They had a non-accessible passenger van. And Francisco, who was the one that was head of the company that did this trip, he had a van with a lift. But COVID happened and he had to sell it in order not to starve. They would place, so they had just a regular van and they would place 2 steep ramps up to the van, and they all pushed into the van. It was a lot of work, but they made it happen for us. I should note that the trains and the bus to the top of Machu Picchu are not wheelchair accessible. The staff was all willing to help in any way they could. Super Mario from Accessible Travel Peru carried me under my arms, and one of the staff carried me under my knees onto the train. And these kids that you see on the side, they pushed them everywhere in this special wheelchair that they could take. It was like a wheelbarrow, that's all I could think of. And they would be one in the back and one in the front, and it had that one wheel, and they would push them all over. Now, the interesting thing with Machu Picchu is he's one of the only people allowed to bring up wheelchairs. Nobody that's got A wheelchair, a cane, anything can go to Machu Picchu. You cannot be restricted in any way. They have more now, but this was a couple of years when we
How
went.
was your breathing?
Fine.
Oh, okay.
I didn't notice it, did you, Tiff? There was
The elevation.
the elevation.
Oh, wow.
It was beautiful. I would highly recommend. That was one place I never thought. You've been there?
Yeah.
I would never think anybody in a wheelchair could go there, you know? Oh yeah, don't drink the water. Do not drink any of the water. Do not eat anything that's washed in
I know.
water. Tiffany ordered orange juice at a restaurant that we went to. She didn't finish it, so my husband finished it. The two of them were sick as dogs. They must have washed the oranges in the water.
Right.
We didn't even think of that. It was fresh squeezed orange juice. Anyway, I gotta read this one over here. I don't have that good eyesight. This was the Grand Tetons. We went to the Grand Teton National Park. We flew into Jackson Hole and drove 45 minutes to Jackson Hole Lodge in Teton National Park. There were no handicap vans to rent in the whole state of Wyoming. I finally called one guy and he goes, well, we're about 100 miles from the airport if you want to come and get one. I said, because then we're going to have to drive 100 miles back. So we made do with a car, and the lodge had ADA cabins and hotel rooms with roll-in showers at the National Park Lodge that we stayed at. I and my mother wanted to be adventurous, so we went for a walk down this narrow dirt path between the mountains and the hotel. And since the trail wasn't accessible, pushing me in the dirt became difficult. So my mom walked ahead to see if she could find a spot that we could turn around and go back. And she left me with this pile of fresh bear poop. And as I sat in the hot sun, the silence was creepy and I kind of felt like a sitting duck. I wasn't sitting directly next to the bear scat. Hopefully they don't eat duck. On our first day there, I wasn't ready to meet Smokey the Bear so soon. So while I waited, I turned on my Billy Joel because maybe the bear likes Uptown Girl. We went to the pool on the hottest day, and yes, they had a chairlift, but the battery was dead, shocking, and actually the guy had taken it home. Unfortunately, that happens a lot. Even though people will advertise that they have, a pool with a chairlift, nobody appears to use it. Very few people use them, the batteries die. It's frustrating when you're paying for hotel amenities that you can't use. I literally had to sweat this one out. I took the famous picture of the Mormon barn to show people the dirt lip you had to get over with a wheelchair. We took a river ride through the lodge. We took a river ride through the lodge, but they did not have an accessible van. So we drove to the launch site and they helped me into and out of the raft, and I sat on the floor of the raft. I think her sister sat next to her, around her, so she wouldn't fall out. But Grand Teton National Park, we flew into Jackson Hole and drove. This repeated itself, that's weird. My adventurers, I took the famous picture of the barn. And I think that's it. 3 times it printed the same thing. But anyway, she takes pictures of the bathrooms. They had outhouses that were handicap accessible. And she takes a picture of places like the ramps that you wanted to go see the barn, but there was a ditch before it. And then over here, this was a really nice walk on the top of a mountain. And as long as you could push, which if you had electric, it had a nice handicap trail up to the top. So. And this was in Old Faithful, the Old Faithful Lodge. This was interesting because any disability you have, know before you go to Yellowstone. We stopped at the Grand Village dining room for lunch and I got the Impossible Burger. It was delicious because my other daughter is vegan. And it's up the hill from the Yellowstone Lake, and we stayed at the Old Faithful Inn. Right next to you, you guessed it, the Old Faithful Geyser. As we drove up to the inn, it looked beautiful and historic. Sadly, my experience as a wheelchair user was awful. We called the Old Faithful Inn in advance to make sure our room would have a roll-in shower. 6 months before we stayed, We called a total of 3 times just to be sure. The day of our stay, we quadruple checked at the reception desk to make sure that we had an accessible room with a roll-in shower. The staff at check-in reassured us as we had an accessible room. As soon as we opened the door to our room and looked in the bathroom, we saw that it was not a roll-in shower, it was a tub. It's not safe for me to use a tub with grab bars, and I honestly don't think the staff at hotels knows what a roll-in shower is, and we find that a lot.
Yeah.
They don't know what a roll-in shower is, they just think it's a shower. The next day, my sister spoke to the manager, she argued, advocated for me for 3 hours, thank goodness for older siblings. Somewhere around the 3-hour mark, the manager suddenly remembered that they did have a separate bathroom with a roll-in shower. This bathroom allows the hotel to check the box, saying that they have a roll-in shower, but what good is it if no one can use it?
If you can't find it.
No, they had it locked.
Right?
I made my way to the shower, which was beautiful and pristine, mainly because they keep it locked and unmarked. Don't tell me about this option before. So what it was this, I didn't realize they have an old section of the hotel, which is original, and you can get rooms there, but all your bathrooms are in the hall. It's like camping. But they had this one accessible bathroom, but they had to clean it before she went because they hadn't used it. And this was it, and it was great, it was perfect and everything. And that was the sink. We've also been to Germany. In Germany, at the Frankfurt airport, they had such a peculiar handicap setup for the bathroom. It had a ladder to pull yourself up. But when you are in Germany, you don't go there for the bathroom, you go for the castles. The old castles did not worry about wheelchair access in their time, so very few historic castles and places are wheelchair accessible. But Tiffany enjoys just basking outside in the beauty of the castle, so. We've never found one, I think there was one old one in Ireland that she could get in the base, the bottom, but that's about it.
Tiffany, did you want to say something?
Tiffany was gonna say something.
Mention food.
Food?
Oh, in Yellowstone?
Yeah.
In Yellowstone. So we had this great burger that was great, but when you got to the hotel, they had no vegetables.
Or anyone among.
No salads. I guess they got their food in like once a week, and the sandwiches were all made, wrapped, and stale when you ate them. The only thing they had was a dining room, which was expensive because it was a buffet, and that was the only place you could find vegetables and a salad. And then we found out at the end that if you asked, they did have a vegan meal that they would make for you. But they didn't find out until the night before. But they had it was the oddest thing. They didn't have any salads, they just had.
So what I would
And what you recommend, yes, she said, if you go there, bring food. Bring a cooler with food. Because otherwise you're spending a fortune going to the buffet every time. But, yeah, it was funny, it was very odd. And then we went to Iceland, she's been to Iceland, she found a wonderful handicapped man and a tour guide, and he brought us all over. Unfortunately, we did not see the northern lights, it was too cloudy. But it was great, we saw a lot. We've also been to Alaska, and believe it or not, we had no problem finding a handicapped van in Alaska. And no problem finding any handicap. She had a handicapped cottage that she stayed in on the lake. What? And she found this beautiful Airbnb that the people had built and they rented. They went there some of the times, but they had a good friend that was like Tiffany, handicap accessible. So they had changed it all over, and it was perfect. We've been to Austria. Austria, we've had some funny, like one place we went to and we said, we need a handicap room, but to get to the handicap room, there were 3 stairs. And that's the place that gave us the drum, I think, to sit on. Yeah,
That's
it
why
is
we're
really,
doing
really
this.
funny, what they think is good.
Yeah.
We went to France, and
No,
that was
the
actually
urgent
good.
care,
We didn't have any problems, did we?
One
Sometimes it's a little
accessible
narrow and the
place.
bathrooms are small
Yeah.
and tight.
If you get it,
I want to go.
you still, there's no credit.
We know what?
No, I'm going.
There was
You
no
have to
what?
put all those things
On the
On the bathroom. That's the only thing, we've got this cushion that we bring, and it's a triangle that you put behind your back, because the toilets in Europe, they don't have a back like we have. So poor Tiffany sits down and she's right back here. So we use, we have to bring a lot of little things like that. This particular trip that we went on, the elevator was too small for Tiffany's wheelchair. So we ended up buying, and also we thought maybe the bathroom. So we ended up buying a wheelchair that would, not a wheelchair, but a potty chair. Right, and they didn't have a roll-in shower either. The shower was very small, but it worked out okay. And that's the other thing we found that.
But we learned to one wheel.
Yeah, we took one wheel off, not this, we didn't take this one. She has an old wheelchair that she takes, that we actually find it easier to get around in. And it has a wheel that we add to the front, which you might be interested in. And you can go over any cobblestones, you can actually go over a curb, and it'll go over all those ruts. It's great, but you've got to have a solid foot plate, for you to use it.
Yeah. Huh,
But,
so it's a front wheel, so it gets you started.
Yep, and it's funny, I thought we had a picture of it.
Does it tilt you back a bit too? No.
No, it's actually, this one's quite far in the front, so you snap it onto your foot plate,
Okay.
and then it's out here, and it's about this big. They have some that are smaller,
Okay.
but they're great, they go over everything, and, yeah, the only thing is we did buy one to go on this kind of a, chair, but it's too complicated to get it on. This one that she has now for her old chair, you just pull the handle, it snaps off. I stick it behind and then we just snap it back on, so it's very easy. So that works out great.
Nancy, before any questions.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just give everybody a huge round.